my name is Thunder, and welcome to part 32 of Tokyo Extreme Racer 2. Now that we've pretty much covered up the remainder of the game in terms of actual playthrough, it's time to go and tackle on some of the bosses that we haven't faced throughout the game. Certain bosses only show up for certain reasons, just like how it was when we did it through the first game. I mean, or at least through the actual proper run through this game. But the first boss that we have up here is a Nissan Pulsar, which honestly there isn't many people who drive this car in the game. It seems to only be a boss and a wanderer. It's not a lot of people, but Jackknife Jones, as his name is the rival the boss you'll get instead if in the first half of the game you end up driving a C-Class car like I am with this Peugeot 306. Basically, I'm trying to remember what the guy's name. I think it was Roadmaster or something now, with the blue 300ZX. But the boss that you get in the early parts of the game depends on the classic car you're driving. So when I started the game, I was in a B-Class Mazda RX-7, therefore Roadmaster was the one that appeared. But if you use a C-Class car like here, you instead get Jackknife Jones in his Nissan Pulsar, which doesn't look like he's done a whole lot to it, but whatever. To be fair, the Pulsar just seems to be a car that kind of threw in and didn't really make much use of it for many of the rivals. There's very few who actually use it at all. I can't even remember a single non-boss or non-wanderer who happens to use the car, so who knows? Who knows? But anyways, what I know is that I won. That's all you need to know. But the next up we have here is an A-Class vehicle, which is showing up at the wrong area for some reason. You can't actually choose where it sets you. It just does it on its own. But okay, not wrong area. Sorry. It's just I had a bit of a brain fart. But this is Lucifer, who drives a black Honda S2000. And is the one who will show up at the first half of the game if you drive an A-Class car rather than a B-Class car or a C-Class car. Basically, yep. If you have, like I said, for the first little while of the game, for at least 2 areas, if you have a different class car, a different boss will show up, and that's where Lucifer comes around. Now, it also does the same thing too with the middle boss, with the zone bosses as well, but for the middle bosses. Or are these the zone bosses? I don't even remember now. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because they're both pretty damn similar in terms of how they are presented. So he kind of screwed himself up at the end there, so that ended that premature ending right there. But anyways, next up, so the first 2 there were for the C1 area. This is for like the Kanjoyo or whatever area. Basically Haruna area, as I like to call it most of the time. But this is a Lethal Weapon, which is a C-Class vehicle here, who drives a red Toyota Altezza. And I have a bright yellow Honda Civic, because I'm not going to beat around the bush. A Honda Civic's actually oh, I forgot to take that pause out. Oh well, doesn't really matter. It's very short, but the Civic in this game is actually a tremendous C-Class car. It's one of the best C-Class cars in the game. I wouldn't say it's the best. There is, I honestly think that Pulsar we saw earlier is the best. I think the Pulsar just is great, but the Civic's pretty much right up there too. As you can see, and then I just ran right into that because I just wasn't paying attention, so whack. But you saw that, that's a C-Class car doing 187 miles an hour, so how about it? And for the A-Class car, we got a Toyota Soarer, so pretty much Toyota and a Toyota. So, Toyota. The only difference is for, the only different one is B-Class, where it's Maximizer, who is a Nissan Cedric or Gloria or whatever. I still can't remember what it's called. Well, it's because the cars look so similar, and I usually have a hard time being able to tell the difference. It's not like the Corolla 11 and the Sprinter Taruna. And as you see, I screwed myself up, but so did he. So that was a very short race for Mystic Racer there. But here now we're getting into what I think this is the zone bosses. So the C-Class zone boss, instead of getting Unhappy Angel, you get Supernova and a Honda Civic, the EF. I think that one is the EF. Probably, could be wrong. If you're wondering too, if my voice does sound a little higher for some reason, all of a sudden it seems to be picking up a bit higher now on Sony Vegas rather than the other ones, or either that or it's just Maybe I'm just visioning something different in my head, but whatever. It doesn't really matter as long as it sounds nice and clear, which is what I'm trying to go for. Trying to keep the mic adjusted away from my mouth so the wind noises aren't as frequent. It's kind of really hard to not have them happen with this. It's just a bit too common with this microphone, unfortunately. But apart from that, it's one of the best sounding microphones you can get for like a headset, which is why I'm using it. But on like, but yeah, as you see here, I use a Mazda Miata, which is a pretty good handling vehicle. It's just, you know, it doesn't quite get up to speed. I think it's because I didn't really adjust the transmission on this one. This probably explains it. But that's the Zone Boss for the C-Class. The Zone Boss, or C1, mind you. For the A-Class C1 Zone Boss, we got a green, a navy, almost like navy green Toyota Supra, known as Steelheart. Steel in my heart, except that's not the right term of steel. But as you can see here, I just thought I'd get out my Supra just to compare, because my Supra's all the way done and his Supra's not. You can really just see there how easily it is you can get away from them when you have your car as fully upgraded as mine. It's just quite a difference, pretty much, to say the least. But anyways, so pretty much with that though, that pretty much was the crushing blow, and we got the win over him. But anyways, on towards the C-Class Zone Boss for the other side, which is where you unlock the new course. We got, I don't even have to wait for the name because it appears right on this thing, Hard Riff in a Nissan Silvia S15. It's the Type S because it's C-Class, not the Type R. If it was Type R, or I say Type R, that's incorrect. It's Spec S and Spec R. That's the correct term for the car. But yeah, pretty much where we got Hot Dog for the B-Class in his Toyota Arista, which is funny because that's an A-Class vehicle. Or B-Class, so what? We get Hard Riff, who has the C-Class Silvia. So he's the only one that actually sticks to the class for this particular area, mind you. So it's a little funny that they do it like that, but whatever. I'm not the one who made this game back 15 years ago because I was 5 years old. Oh man, this time is gone. Kind of freaky sometimes thinking about it too. Needless to say though, he's actually quite powerful for a C-Class car, but I managed to hold him off. And as for A-Class, we've got a returning face from TXR1. One of the returning, technically all 8 bosses from TXR1 return in TXR2. The only thing is, half of them are bosses still, and half of them are wanderers. The half that are wanderers you will be seeing in part 33. But this is, of course, Phantom Racer in this yellow NSX. He's got a, and with this S2000 here, I'm going to show off a pretty questionable choice for his car. As you see, I'm only doing 184 miles an hour, yet I'm pulling away from him. This S2000, if you don't adjust the gears, it only does 184 miles an hour. But as you can see here, I'm actually just slightly pulling away from him, and he's never catching up. And it's kind of weird. Like, you have because his NSX, I believe, has over 400 horsepower, so it should be pretty damn fast. But no, he doesn't. He just doesn't keep up, and before you know it, you won. So yeah, whatever. But anyways, there is there is at least one more Zone Boss that is, I think, specific to class. This is a B-Class Toyota Soarer. So there's 2 Toyota Soarers in this one part, and I just dropped my mouse because I moved in my chair, sorry, but it is Happy Pirate. And like I said, Toyota Soarer. Now, take note of the fact that he's in that car, right? Because in the later games, he does not drive a Toyota Soarer. Most people, most bosses tend to stick with the same vehicles they have, and just, you know, with updated appearances for the respective games. But some do switch into new vehicles, either because the vehicle that they drive they can't have access to, or, you know, they just want to switch it up. Happy Pirate does not stay with that Soarer, and Jackknife Jones also doesn't stay with that Pulsar either. But anyways, the second big boss, because there are 2 big bosses, which would have been the one I would have facing if I had been in an A-class car by this point, is where the origins of White Charisma came from, which was TXR2. Except in this game, he was known as White Phantom rather than White Charisma. And he has the white RX-7 with the yellow gold wheels, which was what I was going for in the actual playthrough of the games. The white RX-7 that I had, wasn't exact, but it was kind of going for the same thing. But as you see here, this is more what I would normally have been going for with the RX-7, because I like the blue with the white stripes. It just looks really nice. But yeah, it's his car is quite quick to say the least, but you know, because his RX-7 is not fully tuned and mine is, it still wasn't that hard to really do. But yeah, that's all the remaining bosses. Believe it or not, we only had out of all the bosses that we still had to do, there's only 10 other remaining bosses. I can't believe it. Okay, that's a little higher than I thought, but yeah, still, there was only that many remaining bosses left to do, so this went shorter than I thought it was going to go, but yeah, whatever. Needless to say, though, part 33 will be much longer because there's plenty of wanderers, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. But anyways, I'll just let the replay finish up. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and take care.